This indicator appeared 8 times today in this trading day. Now, I spoke about this indicator in yesterday's video. The link is in the description. And I'm not kidding when I said this indicator made me a lot of money. And it happened 8 times. 8 times. Just one day. I'm going to show it to you here. We'll look at the 1 minute chart first. This is the first time it happened. Broke through. Second time it happened. Broke through. And we switch to the 5 minute chart. Another time it happened. It broke through. Then it happened here again. Broke through. One more time here. Broke through. Took 2 times in order for it to break through this pink here. And if you look at it in a 30-minute time frame, you will notice that it has been one large head and shoulder pattern to break us through down to our yearly low. And you know the beautiful thing about this is that the resistances are perfect. The neckline, perfect. In fact, we had such a beautiful and perfect head and shoulder structure throughout the entire day. Take a look at this. Just beautiful resistances. In this case, support because they're inverse head and shoulders. Look, just beautiful, beautiful resistances. And when you have beautiful shoulder levels, you can have very good fills. This one took 2 times, 2 attempts in order to break through our yearly low here. And if you take a look at the 30-minute chart, equally perfect shoulder resistances here at purple. And we have one more right here. It brought us out of this pink 359 level here. So if you have not watched yesterday's video, please watch it. I talked a lot about this particular structure, how to trade it, even if it fails. So please watch that. The link is in the description below. But otherwise, let's take a look at the Discord. When we had an analysis, I made an analysis on Friday, early morning before 6 a.m. Eastern time. Right, I talked about a few things here. I want to run through that and how did we manage to trade with this analysis. Now, the first thing is to understand that orange 362 has become a very strong demand zone. And we take a look at a 30-minute time chart here. We can see how strong this orange level has been. And if we continue to take a look at the 5-minute chart, you will see that it took, well, up to almost 2 p.m. in order for this orange level to be breached. And it took so much effort from the bears to do so, to the point that they needed to create a major head and shoulder pattern coming all the way from 365. Right, if we take a look at a 30-minute time frame, this is, well, it's a very strong head and shoulder formation. Right, it took, well, this is at least 1 day's worth of trading in order for it to break through. So this demand zone, well, it has been strong. The bears built a structure to test and breach through it. So this is the first thing that we have to pay attention to. So when we know some place is a demand zone, right, we pay attention for some structures that we can take. In this case, when orange was formed like this, and you see an inverse head and shoulder, this is where you look out for reversals to play calls. So in this case, if you could see this head and shoulder pattern here on this 5-minute chart, if I zoomed it in a little bit more, you will notice we had a very strong rejection. You can call this a stop hunt, but it forms the head of this head and shoulder pattern. And we had all these strong bottom wicks, and thereafter we formed a beautiful right shoulder over here. So if we were to take calls, you have to take them as close as the orange level as possible. You can set some secondary stops and primary stops just below this wick here, because this wicks will protect you from the buyers in this, because this wicks will protect you from the sellers, and in this case, if you took your calls here, you would have made a very beautiful push upwards. Now, similarly, we formed a bear flag. I meant a bull flag right here, and you can see as well, there is also a beautiful head and shoulder pattern here. So it's at this point, you could have taken your profits, waited for some sort of retracement, added onto your positions here. You could see another push up here. Now, at the meantime, when all these are forming, you notice there is a buying algorithm that is being observed. Now, these is just buyers just buying in based on a fixed algorithm, right? Very standard gradient of buying, right, all the way to the top here. Right, so this would have been a very easy trade to take. Beautiful structure, a buying channel for you to nurture your calls, right? Another retracement level with another beautiful microstructure of taking another trade off the inverse head and shoulder right here. Now, there was another point that I had to make right here. I talked about this control zone here and asked to look out for some sort of reversal structure right at this level. Right, so I mentioned that this will be a very interesting level here. Right, this is going to be a very important level between pink 365 and yellow 366, the control zone here. And look out for reversal indicators at this level here. So when we see between pink 365, yellow 366, and it's here we need to look out for some sort of reversal structures. And we see this reversal structure here, right? Firstly, it broke through the buying channel, right? If you were to chart lines here, you will notice this buying channel is broken here. Now, at this point in time, you have to get ready, because once it broke through this pink level, you're ready for another head and shoulder pattern here. In this case, if you took your puts here, it would have went down. It didn't even require, right, the sellers to start gaining strength in order to break through the support neckline here. But at that point in time, you would have seen to be ready for this head and shoulder pattern. You could have got in because we had a few confirmation here. Now, the first confirmation was the breaking of this buying channel, and that means that the buying algorithm has already been broken. And secondly, it would start forming the right shoulder right here. Unfortunately, it only gave 5 minutes. And remember when I talked about trading, trading is always about trying to buy time. The more time you have to prepare, the better, because in that case, you can learn to manage your risks. But in this case, the market only gave us one 5-minute candle. In fact, even less time than that. So sometimes you have to set alerts, right? If you are able to chart a buying channel, you have to set alerts on the channel itself, because once it's broken, or even earlier than that, you just chart another line like that and set your alerts on this line. And if that triggers, you're ready to take a possible trade. And in this case, we knew that this was a control zone here, looking out for some reversal structure, and this reversal structure happened, and we push right down again. So once again, another head and shoulder pattern right here. Now, thereafter, we had several more head and shoulder pattern, right? You would definitely have to take some partial profits at orange here, because this was the neckline. It's a very important level. You have to take your profits to protect your trade here, await some form of retracement, or in this case, the flagging of the right shoulder that you see right here. And indeed, what we flagged, we formed another head and shoulder pattern off the right shoulder. This is perfect, isn't it? So you'll be able to take another trade. And you know, the beautiful thing about this trade is this: the resistances are so clear, right? It's a fixed level, and we had all these top wicks to give us some confirmation of how strong this level is. Broke through again, and once we broke through down again, while we are forming another bear flag, you notice another head and shoulder structure. Absolutely perfect. Then we met another major support level. And at this point in time, the bears had to do more, right? So they tried once. We had a head and shoulder structure. It didn't work, right? We met with some rebound here, and they retested it again with another head and shoulder pattern. So this pink level, it's a strong level. Why? Because it's a new low. And with a new low, you can expect more buyers to be at this area. Remember, the lower the price it is, it's a very simplistic expectations that the lower the price there is, we should expect more buyers, right? Because it's more of a bargain, especially when it's at a yearly low. We can expect more buyers. But maybe on Friday afternoon, there's less traders. And so that's more easy for the bears to do their moves in this case. But in this case, it took them two tries, right? 2 attempts to try to break through. And we got our end of day here, right? And so if 5 minutes is too small a time frame for you, you can take a look at a 30-minute time frame, and you could tell right from the start here. So right at this level here, you would know there will be 2 support levels that will be tested. So when you see this head and shoulder that's forming on the 30-minute chart, now because it's a 30-minute time frame, you need to be prepared for the chart to move a little longer. In this case, you see the left shoulder, it took 1.5 hours, right? Because that's 3 candles of 30 minutes each. So you can expect at least 1.5 hours for this to take its move. So when we were testing for this orange level, right, and also another level here, you can see just a perfect structure. Could have taken long-term puts here, right? Get ready for your move. In this case, it went down all the way, right? Tested the neckline support here and another neckline support here at this pink level here, which was close to, I think that was yesterday or the day before, the lows of the day before. And we broke through right that because the sellers managed to rally enough strength to break through this level, through this head and shoulder formation. So this head and shoulder structure told us what the sellers are attempting to do. If we take a look at a 5-minute chart, you will also notice that in the midst of forming that head and shoulder pattern, you see a beautiful selling channel right here. So you had multiple confirmations of the trade, and you could take, for example, if you were taking this head and shoulder pattern, right, you wouldn't know when this head and shoulder pattern will fail, because if by this selling channel, right, this does not push us down out of this, it means buyers would have gained more strength than the sellers out of this selling structure. It may push us back out of here, right? Similarly, you notice the other time this head and shoulder was successful was also boosted by this selling channel right here. Similarly, right here as well. So all this selling channel provides some algorithm for the sellers to start pushing right at the top of the trend line to push us down. So you see the chart is full of money-making opportunities if you can identify structure, because structure will give you an opportunity to know when to enter your trades and give you an idea of when to exit your trades for profits. How reliable the structure is, and what are some of the assurances or guarantees that you can take some good profits as long as you enter it within what the structure demands. So as long as we learn to respect the structure and know how to trade as per the structure demands, we will always come out with a profit. Fascinating, isn't it? So we wish to learn more of this. I talk about it a lot more in my Discord server every single day. In fact, I run through all these structures, and as well as you can subscribe to this YouTube video, right? Make sure that you stay subscribed as I run through all these indicators here. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you see how important this structure is so far, and hopefully you can use this more to your advantage, right? Watch the previous video. I talked about entering into the trade, how to ensure you respect the structure and to take profits accordingly. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you for next daily brief video. Thank you very much.